All right, peace and blessings. Welcome and welcome back to Kamitic Legacy. This is the digital publishing arm of the Asar Set Society. Good to see you tonight. Good to welcome you back to another wonderful webinar that we have in store for you. First and foremost, I want to welcome all of you who this is your first time being with us on Kamitic Legacy. This is your first time having an opportunity to hear from one of the most prolific, powerful spiritual leaders of our time, a man who has spent the last, let me say the right word, invested the last 50 years of his life in service to spirituality, the founder of the Asar Set Society, an international spiritual, Pan-African spiritual organization, started in 1973, and the author of over 40 books on the subject of spirituality, holistic healing, Qigong, and many others, and the musician and composer of over 100 meditation tracks, one of which you heard when we opened up, the powerful Amen meditation track that is a part of the new on-demand meditation course, Kamitic Spirituality, in the palm of your hand. It's called Maat, the 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success, now available on our new Soundwise digital platform. So if you are new to us, please put a 1 in the chat so we can welcome you. In the meantime, I want to say peace and blessings to those of you that are with us on our YouTube channel, one of our YouTube channels. Okay, welcome. And those of you who are here on our Facebook, a lot of Facebook, we have the Asar Set International, we have the Heteru Healers with us. We have Asar Set in Pennsylvania, in Chicago, in Atlanta. Welcome. All right. Well, wow. April Flowers is with us. That's a beautiful, inspiring name. Welcome here for the first time. Alethea Little. Fernando, welcome. Fernando Rosado with us. Looks like you're on the webinar platform as well. Great. And Miss Bombs. All right. Welcome. I see we have people from across the country. California is here. New York, definitely in the house, of course. Philadelphia, oh, I'm sorry, Brooklyn, right? Yeah, I know how you all are. Brooklyn's in the house. We've got Carolinas represented. Okay, beautiful. And some international presence as well. So I want to welcome everybody in. You're either in our webinar room or on our Facebook or YouTube channels. And we've been having a series of webinars. These are free webinars. All right, St. Lucia in the house, Cleveland, Cincinnati, welcome. All right, Texas is here. That's right. And I hope you're spreading the word, right? We have tremendous wisdom, brilliance. Okay, Queens had to stand up. In Ohio, right. We have this amazing wisdom in Arizona, yes, that we have access to. Ohio, again, is in the house. And we've been having a series of webinars. If you're just catching up on this, you want to go right now to your app store on your iPhone, to your Google Play Store, and you want to download the My Soundwise app. You can see the image there on your screen. When you put in Soundwise, there's 2 different things that pop up. You want the orange one, Soundwise, with that icon of the light bulb. Azania is in the house. Salbona. DMV. Okay. I thought that was Department of Motor Vehicles. That's what we call that here, but we know who you are. DC, Maryland, Virginia, Denver, Colorado. Okay, you're hyped because you're world champions. We see you. Barbados is in the house. Beautiful. So yeah, you go to Soundwise, you put Soundwise on your phone, and then you type in Kamitic Legacy. You see it there spelled Kamitic. Or you, by the time you type in Kamitic, you'll find us, and you're going to find about 6 or 7 webinars, hours of wonderful information about Kamitic spirituality. And the last one we had was so powerful, so powerful. We talked about mantras, and before that, the power of the breath. So all of that's available to you for free, and the app is free. So go ahead and download that. And you want to spread that to as many people as you can. And while you're there, you can also check out our Maat, the 11 Laws course, right, which has various entry levels, but you can get the entire package for $149. You'll learn about that more today. You can also get the 4 powers of the divine spirit and get started for just $59. Or if you just want one module, you can do that as well. So make sure you check that out. So tonight is such an important subject matter. We're talking about happiness, right? Yeah, I had to resist putting on Al Green, but I'm sure we're going to talk about that. Happiness is what we're all looking for, and you've heard the phrase "looking for it in all the wrong places" sometimes, right? So we're going to talk about happiness and how it relates to spirituality, and we're actually going to talk about cultivating as opposed to finding happiness. How can you cultivate happiness? And within this topic, the secrets of wellness, of well-being, and success in life. So at this time, I want to bring to the Kamitic Legacy platform here. My name is M. Tahuti Kamo, and I'm honored to be your host tonight. I serve as an Orwa, one of the parts of the leadership in our Pan-African organization. I'm based in Pennsylvania, and I have the honor to introduce to you my spiritual teacher and a man who has changed many, many, many thousands of lives. And we're excited that he is now available everywhere in the world, live and in person on this platform. And you don't even have to have a big, sophisticated computer. It's right there in your pocket, right on your cell phone. So with that, I want to bring to the stage Un Nefer Amen. We refer to him in the Kamitic language as our leader, as our king, which is the Shechem or Shechem. And we greet him with our affection and power, our phrase that means power to you. And you got to listen to that mantra webinar that he did a few weeks ago to really understand the power of this greeting, but it confers power, peace, and blessings. So let us all say, even though we can't hear you, we can feel you. Anechrak, Shechem or Shechem, Un Nefer Amen.
Power back to you.
Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. The feedback has been incredible for the new course that you have, and for the jewels, can I say, that you've been dropping in these different webinars. Very enlightening. And as one of your students for 40 years, it's so empowering now to know that we have a way to spread this knowledge to so many people who need it today. And the topic that you have today is incredibly important. It seems to be the center of all of our lives, and it's happiness. So I want to welcome you tonight.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And
Second, what is happiness? Can we get right to that?
yeah, I'm getting right to it. But first of all, I want to greet the audience. I want to say thank you for coming aboard tonight, spending your evening with us. To Thursday night, there's a lot of things that people could be doing and want to do and need to do. So we're very grateful that you are here with us this evening. Now, Happiness. My host cannot wait.
Hey, we've been searching for it all our lives, right?
Yes. Well, happiness, to use a big word from the Latin, summum bonum, meaning the greatest thing in life.
Mm,
Happiness is the greatest want, the greatest desire. To attain happiness is the greatest desire in everybody's life. You see, you're a singer. It's not 1, 10, 20 Grammys. You're an actor. It's not 1, 2, 10 Oscars. It's not the championship ring and the green coat that the golfers get and so on. It is happiness. You can have all the prizes and all the money and all the attainments in this world, but if you are not happy, you will most likely end up taking your life.
mm,
I remember I was watching this guy on TV, Anthony Bourdain. Parts unknown, he had this food, program traveling all over the world. Very entertaining and informative show where he would travel all over the world, and he was top of his game. He was number one in his field, unparalleled. Took his life.
mm,
A lot of money, fame, and lots of people we know have done that, taken their names, taken their lives.
mm,
Happiness is the greatest want, the greatest thing that we desire in life. And you mentioned about people saying that people want happiness, but they're searching for it in the wrong places. That's a popular statement.
mm,
Let me go into another statement and bring some more light to it. The textbook, the master book for yoga is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. All the all the yoga teachers, and so forth, that's their Bible. That's their master textbook. The Yoga Sutras and the author's name is Patanjali.
mm,
And in the opening chapter of his book, Patanjali says that, words for which there are no objective realities are one of the major causes of delusion. See, meaning that we have a lot of words that speak to nothing that's real. You see that?
mm,
Meaning what the words represent don't exist. You see that? Uh, I want to do a variation on Patanjali because happiness is a word, you see, for which the majority of meanings and significance are wrong. You see that? And we need to stop a minute and think about how devastating, how catastrophic that is, that the majority of people have the wrong idea about that which they desire the most. They have the wrong idea of what they might take their life if they don't get.
mm.
There's no such thing as looking in the wrong places for happiness if you don't even know what it is. You got to know first what it is before you can look for it. You see that? And once you know what it is, you find that it's not something that you look for. It's not something you can look for. You see that? So let's begin by let's cut right to the chase. What is happiness? Okay? Happiness is a state, a condition, a state of being in which you are experiencing unending peace and joy. Meaning that if happiness is unending peace and joy, there cannot be a reality that one day you're happy and another time you're unhappy.
Mm.
because happiness is perpetual. It goes on and on and on, meaning that when you catch that zoom, okay, when you catch that groove of joy and peace that never ends, then you're happy. If you're living your life going having ups and downs, one time you're joyful, you're joyous, another time you are not joyous. Okay, that's not happiness and happiness, because happiness only exists when you are peaceful and joyful forever. And I know some people are saying, "Oh man, that sounds too good to be true," you know, and it sounds like something that is impossible. You see that in the yoga tradition, there's a phrase called Sat Chit Ananda. You see, the the three most important things in yoga. Sat is stability. You see that being centered. You see that when you center, which is Sat, Chit, which is the mind. You
Mm.
see, then you have Ananda. What's Ananda? Ananda is a blissful state of happiness. You see, if you center consciousness, you see, stabilize the mind, you see, through cultivation, not through getting this or getting that, through cultivation of the spirit, cultivation of the psyche, cultivation of the body, then you will enter that zone in which you remain peaceful, and you will enjoy that peace forever. In the storybooks, there's and the ones that make for children, which is
Mm.
a big joke because adults can't get to it. They don't know what it is. And
Mm.
they, at the end of the story, they say, and they live happily ever after. Now, nestled in that children's book statement is the proper definition of happiness. And they live happily ever after. They're saying that happiness is a state of something that you live ever after.
Mm.
So there's no such thing as being happy at one point and then unhappy and then happy again, unhappy. You're not doing happiness, you're doing joy. You see that? People confuse joy with happiness. Joy is a temporary state of elevation and elation that you get, that you experience from achieving something, getting something. You win some money, you hook up with somebody. You see that? So that elation is what we call joy. You see that's a different part of your nervous system and brain from the part of your nervous system and brain that deals with happiness. Not the same thing. You see that? Okay? But if you don't know it, and why wouldn't you not know it? Because you are living in a social environment that is not dedicated or devoted to the spiritual upliftment of the citizens.
Mhm. Mhm.
You see that? In other words, this society is about making money, getting famous, the data that's not about you learning how to live your life. You see that? And fulfill the most important things in your life. You see that? And I know lots of people, joined us today because when they heard about happiness, what is it? You know, Lots of them been there and done it. You went to school, you got a degree, you wrote a lot of songs, and you did a lot of, mundane things, and happiness eludes you
Mm.
because you see, you don't even know what it is. So listen, when you have the good things, legitimate good things, legitimately acquired in life. Huh? Let's say it again. When you have the good things legitimately acquired in life, enjoy it if you can. And I'm going to speak about that if you can later on. And when you don't have the good things in life, then be at peace and enjoy being at peace.
Mm.
So you see, when you have the good things, enjoy it. So you have joy covered on one end of the spectrum, And when you don't have what you want in life, be at peace and enjoy being at peace. Now you have joy on the other spectrum of life. So you're always joyful. You see that? I have it, I'm enjoying it. I lost it. I'm peaceful and I'm enjoying the peace.
Mm.
I'm always joyful. That's the definition of happiness. You see that? It's not something that you get because, your team won the Super Bowl, or you hooked up with somebody, or you got, a job that pays you seven figures and things of that nature. No, it's something that you can only have through proper diet, proper lifestyle, proper meditation rituals. It's a cultivation, it's a self-cultivation thing. You see that? So if
So,
you are seeking happiness by expecting to get Mr. Right or Miss Right, you see, if you're expecting to get happiness through landing a phenomenal career or winning, some prize or whatever, yes, you're looking for happiness in the wrong place. You see that? Why? Because you don't know what it is. You thought that happiness is that transient state of joy. You see that? Let's go back to the children's story, right? Imagine, that children's story, they go through the tribulation, whatever, and they finally solved the problem, and the author said, and they were happy for a while.
for a while, right?
Like, okay, no, that's not happily ever after.
Right, right.
You
Check,
see my
check 'em.
word?
I think you may need to turn your speaker down just a little bit. We're getting some slight feedback.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I don't know if you're going to cause some relationship problems tonight because are you saying that when we say, "Oh, you make me so I'm so happy since I met you," or you bring happiness into my life to our mates, that we are spiritually imprecise? Would that be the word?
Well, no, because you see, if you meet, you want to clarify it. And in our spiritual tradition, there's a sebek, part of the spirit that's sebek, right?
Mm-hmm.
That solve these problems. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, so you need to be spiritually correct. You see that? And otherwise, you can say, "Well, I didn't know what I was talking about. I thought I knew what I was saying."
Some people call that Sahunese. I was speaking Sahunese at the time.
Yeah. So the important thing, though, is for you to understand, because this is catastrophic.
Mm.
This is catastrophic to put the best years of your life, and then to invest yourself totally in a relationship with somebody, expecting to be joyful ever after.
Mm.
You see that? And you think that being able to romance and do all of these things that couples do, trip to Acapulco and da and raising children, that they're going to get that great payoff called happiness.
Mm.
And it cannot give it to you. Those things cannot give it to you. You see that? So what we are doing is that we're saving a lot of marriages right now.
Mm.
You see that? Because right now there are people staring angrily at each other because they didn't get what they thought they were going to get from the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
See, and they put it on the other person. You see that? You remember the song, right? It wasn't me. So what we got to understand here is that we're putting a burden on the other person to give us what cannot be gotten from the relationship. We're putting a burden on ourselves to give to somebody else what cannot be gotten in that manner.
Mm.
You see that? Okay. How many of you have, went and bought that diamond ring, that chocolate for Valentine's Day, and got massacred? down the road. You see that the thing is that this is what spirituality is all about. Spiritual culture is all about for you to understand, what you're gonna get, how, and from where. You see that. So the thing is that happiness is not joy. Joy is that momentary, short, short, short-lived nervous reaction, and the nervous system cannot sustain excitement for too long. You see that?
Mm.
Okay. But the kind of elation that you get from the enjoyment of peace, you see that? Okay, is what is everlasting. Because you see, no, happiness doesn't stop you from enjoying getting something, some worthy thing. But that enjoyment of a worthy thing cannot be sustained for too long either.
Mm.
You see that? In other words, there's a desensitization process. A mundane thing, a thing of this world that you find joyful, must at some point be desensitized. You must find that it will hit a point where it's not going to excite you that much,
Mm.
not excite you, the proper way, and so on. And then you blame it on your mate. Oh, you're not loving anymore. You're not exciting anymore. You're not. So,
I've fallen
no,
out
but
of love, kind of thing.
that's your nervous system. Your nervous system get desensitized. Now it gets a point you get used to.
Mm.
You see that? Okay. So you have to understand that, what you want is to feel that euphoria always. You want to feel that elevation always. And that is the enjoyment of being peaceful, no matter what kind of challenges you're going through in life. And
Mm.
this is why I put this course, the Maat 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success, together, because it's a training thing, it's a self development thing, it's a self cultivation thing. That's how you get happiness. You see that? Okay.
So Shechem, and again, I want to welcome those of you who just came in. We're having a powerful discussion about the most important thing in life, which is happiness. Um, is it a destination? Is it something that you arrive one day at, or is it possible that you could achieve levels of it and then, in regards to certain things, not be there? Or is there a permanence? Is what I'm saying. Is it when you this state that you're describing?
Well, I'm 79 now. I hit that point, in my late 20s, and
Ooh,
I'm still in it.
wow.
So I'm talking to you from experience. And it's what we call hotep in the Kamitic tradition.
Mm.
You see that? It's the ananda of the yogic, quest. You see that the yogi is looking, the yogi is not looking just for relaxation, deep relaxation from doing bhujangasana and so forth. The yogi is looking for ananda, that bliss that never leaves you. You see that? Let's go into the meat and potatoes of why is happiness important. You see that?
Mhm.
If I'm happy, meaning in a state of, you know, um, subtle, gentle elevation, that means that, my psyche, my body and my spirit are generating, you know an energy that is keeping my life force in a vital state. You see that? That life force, what we call chi, kundalini, ra, you see that, elan vital, and so on. That life force, you see, becomes enlivened permanently. We
Mm.
don't want to have, because joy is elevating and nourishing. That's why we seek joyful experiences. You see that? You know, your body is clamoring for joy. You see that? So that's why we go to the movies and we do things to be entertained, to experience that joy. It is healing. It nourishes, it vitalizes. But then what happens is that thing that gives us joy becomes a Trojan horse, because there comes a time when you can't get that thing.
Mm.
You don't have that kind of control over things in the world. And there comes a time when that thing ceases to give you joy. You see that? So there's a trap there. You're with me. So the thing is, you cultivate the happiness through proper lifestyle, meditation, you know, and things, your spiritual work and so on. You see, and yes, it's a gradual growth process because it's a skill. It's a life skill. It's like learning how to play the violin. It's like learning how to be a leader. You improve. You're making mistakes, but you come back and correct and you improve and improve and improve, and you get to the point where it is part of your nature. You see that? Because you see, in other words, in the Maat 11 laws of God, and in the health, wealth, and success course, the two part of your spirit that controls your happiness is the Amen part of your spirit, which is the faculty that enables you to experience peace. You see that? Experience peace doesn't happen from knowing the importance of being peaceful in the midst of challenges. It's a faculty that has to kick in and weigh in. You see that? Okay, that's part of what the yogis call the Ajna chakra. You see that? Okay, then the other faculty that controls happiness is the heteru faculty. You see that? Okay, which is the gestational, that's the part that gestates the ideas and goals that you want. You see that? So these two faculties work together. Other faculties have to come in to prevent and correct mistakes. You see that? But these two faculties, Amen and Heteru, work together. That's the zero faculty and the seven faculty and the partner Teru. They work together to bring about the state of happiness. You see that? In other words, you have to create the happiness, not get it from getting something. You see that? And the thing is that when you're not happy, you're not joyful because you cannot sustain joy indefinitely, but you can sustain happiness indefinitely. That's part of the definition. It's indefinite joy, meaning enjoyment of peace. So when you're not joyful, what happens? You may not feel depressed, but your vital functions are depressed. They're lowered. Your cognitive ability is lower. The ability to heal lowers. You see that? So that you see, it's important to be happy, meaning to maintain your health, your vitality, to constantly nourish those thoughts that are portraying the goals that you want to achieve. You want to achieve a goal, so you envision it. You have affirmations, but for those words and those visions of what you want to achieve to move towards physical reality, to come into the world as realities, they have to be energized. People say word of powers. No, words don't have power. Words are energized by your life force. You see that? And then we try to energize the life force through Qigong and yoga and things of that nature. That's good, but those are band-aids compared to you remaining joyful, enjoying the peace. If you're enjoying the peace always, it means you're not indulging anger, fear, worry, grief, and all the emotions that destroy your health, your well-being, and your IQ. You see that? So being happy is just not simply about singing a happy tune. It's about your mind zooming. That's why I was able to write 40 books plus, over 100 musical compositions, okay, on different subjects. You see that? Why? People say, where you get energy from? Smiling all the time, laughing all the time, and reciting in my mind, the 11 laws of God. You see that?
I can bear witness to that. Shekim. We still have a slight echo. I think your speaker might be a little high.
Okay, let me see.
But yeah, just being with you all these years, that's one of the things that we have observed, just a tremendous productivity and ability to accomplish things. And Shekim, you mentioned that this is something that you achieved many years ago. Over those years, you've faced some challenges like all of us. I'm sure you've had some events that happen in your life. And can you just talk a little bit more about that when you talk about enjoying peace? Is it because we would tend to think of challenges like on some type of a scale, like the more we have to lose or something like that, the more strength it takes, or the deeper we have to go into ourselves. How would you explain that enjoyment of peace when you do have obstacles and challenges and losses?
Well, being at peace, let's define it in a reversal negative way. Being at peace means that when you encounter challenge, you're not upset, you're not angry, you're not afraid, you're not worrying, you're not grieving. You are in a subtle state of joy.
Mm.
You see that? That's what being at peace is all about. Okay? And so there's a part of you called the Amen part of your spirit that will manifest that subtle state of joy, that energy state. And the problem is that in the Western world, people work with ideology, ideas, principles, not understanding that it is that at the end of the day, energy is what makes things happen. We learned it in school. Energy is what makes action takes place, what makes change take place. So you see, you have 11 faculties of the spirit. Okay, for you to be one with God and with other people, there has to be a place in your spirit, in your brain, in your psyche to make that happen. Just not the understanding that it's important to be one with others. There are faculties that govern it. It's a cultivation state. Let's talk about the chemicals of happiness.
Mm.
This is These are phrases that are not part of everybody's vocabulary. You see that?
Chemicals of happiness.
Chemicals of happiness.
Huh.
For you to be happy, okay, it's not enough for, first of all, you don't need to succeed at something. Okay? You don't need to get something. For you to be happy, all you need to do is to let the 11 laws govern the way you think. In the course that the 11 laws, course, right? You have affirmations of law, things, legitimate statements that should play in your mind when you are going through, a challenge. You see that? You should not be saying, "Oh, why it's me? Why should this happen to me? I hate this. I can't wait for this to end." If that's the mental chatter that's going on when you are going through a challenge, you're going to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Because those thoughts, you're nourishing thoughts that will keep playing in your mind and bring your energy down. But you see, when you're challenging, if what's playing in your mind automatically from repetition and meditation is, I'm a divine being, peaceful by nature. I give thanks to God for endowing me with the ability to change, my early life conditionings
Mm-hmm.
and respond in peace and to enjoy the peace, which is great for my health, my well-being, and redoubles to the benefit of my community and to the world. Those are the kind of thoughts, legitimate thoughts, legal thoughts, meaning laws, that should be playing in your mind. You see that? When you are being challenged or you lost something, you can't get something, and so on. Then, along with saying those words, you see, you should be visualizing your person smiling in a situation, laughing in a situation. Why? Because when you smile, when you laugh, especially in a challenging situation, your brain begins to generate loads and loads of endorphins, chemicals we call dopamine, chemicals we call serotonin. If your brain stops generating these chemicals, you cannot experience joy. You cannot experience serenity. You cannot experience, for example, our beloved president, Barack Obama. He had a habit of smoking. Remember that? Like a bad example for the young people, who, are in danger of cancer and things like that. But why did he smoke? When you go into the biochemistry of nicotine, we find that nicotine, as well as alcohol and other stimulants, they stimulate the blood, the brain, to generate dopamine.
Mm.
So it makes them feel elevated. But the problem with uh, dopamine induced by nicotine is that it only lasts like 15, 30 minutes. That's why people become chain smokers. Why? Because they're trying to get that elevated feeling. Had somebody said to you, Barack, you can meditate instead of smoking cigarettes, that would have been much better for him and the nation
Mhm.
and for the image of the young people. You see that? So
Mhm.
the thing is that if you're doing things like drinking too much alcohol, and there's no yardstick as what is too much alcohol. Any small amount of alcohol doesn't have to make you drunk or high. It's a solvent. It starts to dissolve the nervous tissue in your brain and your spine and things of that nature, and interfere with the neurotransmitters and things of that nature. But alcohol will generate more dopamine production. And the more you drink, the longer you drink, you exhaust that mechanism to the point where it can no longer generate dopamine.
Mm.
So then you end up in a state of depression. You're in a state of unhappiness or lack of joy, and you think it has to do with what people are doing around you, what you didn't get. No, it's that structure in your brain cannot function properly anymore. So if you want happiness, protect the brain. Stay away from things that affect your dopamine and your serotonin production. You see that? And then on why meditate, especially the way we teach it in this course, is that when you meditate properly, okay, engaging the vagus nerve on the out breath, yes, you stimulate that part of the brain that generates endorphins, meaning its own opiates. You see that? Okay? And things of that nature. Okay? So you generate the opiates, and that's a need that you have. The brain, every day or every so many days, you need to go through experiences where your brain is generating opiates. You see that? The medical profession today, they're finding that the mushrooms, which are sources of opiates,
Mhm.
is not helping people, with PTSD, the
Mm.
soldiers that came back or whatever, right? But the brain, yes, people that have PTSD, they can't shake it because their ability to generate, you see, the opiates in their own brain somehow got, messed up, you know, by the severity of the trauma. Okay. But there are natural ways. The mushrooms for people like those conditions, but meditation will do the same as well. If you know how to
Mhm.
meditate properly, it's just a meditation, but you also have to do certain exercises, qigong, yoga, okay, and stay away from intoxicating foods. Just not simply, when I say intoxicating, I just don't mean alcohol and things of that nature. I'm also talking about, you know, um, processed foods and colors in foods and fried foods and things of that nature that destroy, the ability to produce this, what I call the chemical of happiness.
Is one of those things sugar that plays a role in this
Oh,
dopamine exhaustion?
sugar's a major culprit,
Mm.
and sugar's pushed. You see that on young people and adults and things of that nature. And the Industrial Revolution brought a lot of illness, okay, into the world. Why? Because the major crop that rose with Industrial Revolution was sugar.
Mm.
You see that? So yeah, I mean, people should go and Google the effect of sugar on the neurotransmitters on your health and things of that nature. You see that?
Yeah, it's that they call it comfort eating. I think when you're down, you're depressed or whatever, and then you eat, those type
Yeah,
of.
the sugar and the chocolate. But you see that the chocolate has also a form of neurotransmitter in it. You
Mm.
see that. But the thing is that Your own brain produces these things. And if you have the proper spiritual lifestyle and you meditate, then you will be able, you'll find that you'll be less inclined to these addictions, that are very damaging to your health and your well-being. And through meditation, if the client is mature enough, they can fight PTSD and overcome these problems through meditation.
Mm. Wow. Well, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Un Nefer Amen, Shechem of Shechem. That's the king of the Osar Oset Society, author of the world renowned Metu Neter 7-volume series, and the Maat 11 Laws of God, which is now available on our digital platform as an audiobook, as well as the author of Maat, the 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success. We're talking about happiness. What an important subject. And Shechem, you're speaking right now about, and in the chat, people are echoing this powerful term, the chemicals of happiness. For those of us that are just learning this, or we learned this late in life after abusing many artificial ways of trying to get this dopamine going, you're saying meditation, you're saying yoga, qigong. Are there other things that can be done? And if a person really has severe history of some type of addictions or heavy drug use or alcohol, is it possible to repair this this natural dopamine mechanism you're speaking about?
Yes, and first let me start off by saying that if you have a serious health problem, okay, don't play doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Don't play doctor. Don't put yourself in the hands of self-appointed doctors either. There are lots of them out there, okay? And of course, you need to do a lot of research to find reliable and effective holistic natural doctors that use natural means. You see that? Okay, your emotional problems, depression and so forth, can be handled by people with acupuncture and Chinese herbalism and things of that nature. Okay, also through dietary change. You see that? Also by detoxifying the body. In the old days, back in the 19th century, people that had mental problems were said to suffer from insanity, meaning that they had a sanitation problem going on inside of them. So part of the therapy was fasting them for a period of time, right, on fruit and vegetable juices, lots of water, enemas, and things of that nature, right, cleaning them out. And if you look it up, you find that lots of people got better. And then they got sick again once they went back to their typical Western diet. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, please, those of you on this webinar, go up, look up dopamine, serotonin. You see that? Endorphins, brain endorphins, and oxytocin, okay, which is the hormone that is secreted, when people are affectionate with each other, and suppressed when you are nasty to each other and to somebody, especially children, and so on. So the thing is, look these things up, and then do a deeper dive as to the nutritional substratum of these brain hormones and neurotransmitters, meaning what foods enable you to produce more dopamine, what foods enable you to interfere with these with these natural transmitters, and put that along with your meditation. In the Yoruba system, the god of wisdom is called Ifa, and in the corpus of Ifa, the recitation, sorry, the recitation of Ifa, they said that there is no Ifa, meaning no wisdom, where there are no herbs.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no herbs where there's no Ifa.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a mistake that people make, that they divide the body from the spirit. So you just want to do meditation? No. Diet, lifestyle is part of it. Or
Mm.
you just want to do lifestyle and herbs, you don't meditate. No, you got to engage spirit, mind, psyche, and body, all four of them.
Mm.
You see that?
Mhm.
One is not more important than the other. Okay? The
Yeah.
head will be in trouble were it not for feet when the lion comes. Now,
Wow.
people think that because I'm heady and I'm the intellectual, I'm superior to, no, no, all four.
Yes. So, again, if you're just joining us, Un Nefer Amen speaking about happiness and this process of responding. I noticed you said something, and somebody in the chat made a comment. You talked about responding to the challenges that would threaten this state of peace that we're attempting to cultivate with thinking that lawful thoughts, thinking correctly. And the viewer's comment was, "What an affirmation!" When you said what you were saying. Can you speak a little bit about the relationship between the thought process that we have and the energy that's generated from that, and how that's addressed in the Maat 11 Laws course?
Yeah, in this Western world, we have been served a big menu, a big diet of thoughts, phrases, ideas that contribute to illness. You know, uh, you've been taught to say things that, you know, my life will never be the same
Mm.
when you have an indefinite ability to change. The scientists used to think that the brain couldn't change. No, they said that this plasticity is what governs the brain. The brain changes. You can grow new brain cells and
Mm.
things of that nature. Okay, so that, but your thinking, your ideas, your beliefs plays a major role. You see that, and people have all kind of opinions about themselves. You see that, okay? I'm evil, or people are evil. No, people are misguided, ignorant. They have been misled by this ignorant society where you have people that give themselves the position of spiritual leaders, okay? And they tell people that, they must seek vengeance. You see that, okay? And they must seek closure. Suppose, let's say there's no closure on what somebody has done wrong to you. If you don't bring closure to the upset and the anger and the grief within you, you are going to do much damage to you than what the person did to your person. They stole your money, you know, they killed your son or whatever. Okay, you don't need to know also destroy yourself. You see that? Because you need to live for others. You need to live for serving God. You need to live for serving others. And but it's something that you have the same way you have to go to school to learn to be a doctor, a banker, an accountant. You have to go to school to learn to be, I don't want to say human, how to be what you came to earth to become, which is a divine being.
Mm.
You see, the enjoyment of life begins with your first step towards reclaiming your divinity. Because the human part of you is a sorry mess. The human part of you is what has given us all the wars in the thousands of years of history. Is that
Mm.
part of your being that has given all the inhumanity, all the craziness. That's the human part of being. That's a psyche. You see that? And it has to be brought under the control of the spirit. You see that? Okay, psychologists study the psyche. Okay, people like us study the spirit. And that's where the control of your life comes from. The spirit, the lawful faculties that must govern you. You see that? Peace is the supreme, emotion that makes is energy that makes you enabled to live all the other 10 laws. Unity is a result of the or set of faculty coming into functionality. You see that? The same way animals are guided instinctively to build their nests and to migrate to the south or the north to find water and to mate and etc. etc. We have an inner guidance within us on a spiritual level called the Tehute faculty. It's
Mm.
the wisdom faculty, meaning that the same way that there's an inner guide for animals, there is an inner guide for us as well. It's not instinctive but spiritual. But that faculty, you have to awaken it and develop it. That's the faculty. You see that? We're not living our life, just drifting accidentally from one accidental event to another one. There's a plan for our life. You see that? That's a sacred faculty within us. You see that once we understand what the divine plan for mankind is and align our the destiny that we are seeking, you see, with the divine plan, meaning that's like hooking your little car to a super train engine. So you get a free ride.
Mm. Mm.
So you have these 11 faculties within you that you have to learn, train to understand, and to work with. And
Mm.
once you awaken these faculties, you will see miraculous things happen in your life. You see that?
Mhm.
Okay? And that's why Osada Set's been around for 50 years and we're all over the world. You see that? Because of the results that we've gotten by teaching these things to the community.
Mhm. Yes. So, again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about happiness. We're talking about wisdom. If you think you received some jewels tonight, put some jewels or some fire in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Yes. All right. And Shekab, I just want to go back, if I may, to something you said about the other side. We just talked about challenges and the need to recondition ourselves to respond to challenges with lawful thoughts, and how that helps us to cultivate happiness. On the other side, you said that joy, like the enjoyment of things, was a Trojan horse. And for those of you, yes, lots of jewels in the chat. Not familiar. That's the story of a gift of a horse that actually contained the army in there. So it was a fake offering. Um, that reference that you made about joy, does it have to do with what we think of as attachment and
Exactly.
it,
Exactly. In other words, what gives you joy, you can become addicted to it.
mm,
And then you find you can't control it. You can't get it when you want. In other words, once you have an object of joy, right? That object gains the power to excite you, make you feel good, elated. So you want to repeat that elation, that excitement, that enjoyment by interacting with that object or that person or that situation or whatever. And then comes the day when that object, that person, that situation is no longer available or turns on you.
mm,
You see that? So
right,
that's how the soldiers that were hidden in that big, that huge wooden horse come
right.
out while you're sleeping to ransack you.
Stab you in the back and the front. So
But wait a minute. I'm
it,
not telling people not to enjoy what is there to enjoy, but they enjoy with awareness that if you do not cultivate your spirit, as we're trying to teach you here, that which you are enjoying can become your nightmare.
yes, that's the essence of what I was asking. Because if you're in a situation in life where you have worked hard for something, you went to school, you sacrificed, and then you finally achieve that, whatever that is, and you have that elation, how do you enjoy that without becoming attached to it?
Well, that's what spiritual culture will help you to achieve. You see that?
Hmm.
How to enjoy without, and at the same time be detached. And that comes from proper understanding. It comes from proper what kind of thoughts you feed yourself. And that's why in this course, we give you 11 sets of of statements for you to affirm in the different situations that you find yourself in. You see that? You in other words, you need spiritually crafted statements, which you call of the laws that govern the faculties of your spirit, which are the statements that must play in your mind in these situations. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see? In other words, let's take the law of heteru, which has to do with the power of the imagination. You see that? There's a saying, don't go to sleep with negative things in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the thoughts that you entertain, especially that you visualize, have great power to manifest themselves as realities in your life. You see that? So, so when it's not enough for you to visualize a positive outcome. You also have to have legitimate statements about what you are expecting and how you're expecting things to happen. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it's just not a matter of positive or negative thoughts, what we call legitimate thoughts. You see that? Okay? A legitimate thought, for example, would be that if like seeking a win-win, in a situation where, somebody is contesting against you. And rather than you seeking to win and the person to lose, you meditate on having a win-win. Why? Because a win-win, okay, you're here to help not only to elevate yourself, but to elevate others. So if you appeal to God for assistance in how you can, win and let the other person win in different ways, you see, then now you will experience what we call wisdom. Because it's easy to put somebody down. It's difficult for you to uplift yourself and the other person at the same time. Because the lower part of you, the psychical part of you, wants to be the winner. That's what we inherited from the animal kingdom. You see that? You don't train horses to run a race, to come in even without a horse. That's the animal part of being.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yeah.
But the spiritual part of your being does not get delight in winning. It gets delight in uplifting all around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so much a part of this way we've been conditioned is to be the winner, above everybody else. Put yourself above everyone else. Competition.
Absolutely.
So again, these are parts of this wonderful course. It's called Maat, the 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success. And Shechem, in the course, and also in the book, which is now available as an audiobook, you go to great lengths to reason, to show the logical connections between these statements of the laws, of the 11 laws, and how they're interconnected with one another so that we can create this proper thought response to the challenges and the opportunities of life. And it's such a beautiful part of our ancient African spirituality. Can you share a little bit more about how you were able to recover these laws and the presentation? Because sometimes it seems that people, when they're talking spirituality, they're not talking about logic. When they're talking about logic, they're talking about cold reasoning based on quote unquote scientific facts. We don't tend to see those things come together in the way that you put them together in the book and in the course.
Yeah. Part of clear thinking and positive convictions is to reason. You see that? To not reason is to go against nature. You see, everything in nature, all the natural processes and events are rational, logical. There's nothing illogical in nature.
Hmm.
You see that? Okay? And the idea that reasoning is somehow opposed to spirituality is a mistake that came from some would-be spiritual teacher umpteen years ago.
Mhm.
But it just common sense will tell you, things need to be logical. 2 plus 2 equals 4 because of the logic of arithmetic, of algorithms, and so on. And the same thing applies to your life. Now, the thing is, you asked me where did the source of these laws. You see that? Let's go back to the Kamitic uh, corpus of information, right? The literature. It says the Tehute part of the spirit, the Tehute Neter was the dispenser of wisdom. It's the
Mhm.
giver of the laws, it's the lawgiver. The same way that Moses was the lawgiver for the Hebrews, okay, and Muhammad was the lawgiver for the Muslims. The lawgiver for in Kemetic tradition is the Tehute faculty of the spirit, not a man, but a faculty within everybody's spirit.
Mhm.
So everybody can train and cultivate to be a wise person, being one who flows with divine guidance and can convey divine guidance to others. You see that? It's a faculty within you. So that faculty within me, that Tehute faculty that I tapped into over some 50 years ago, enabled me. You see that? To awaken all the other 10 faculties, all the 11 faculties. And once the faculties are open and developed, you begin to get information about them and
Mhm.
about the areas of life that they control. You see that? Like you take the seventh faculty, Heteru, number 7 on the tree of life of the partner Heteru. Okay. Um, in the Hebrew tradition, the Heteru faculty is called Netzach in
Mhm.
Kabbalah, on the tree of life. And
Mhm.
Netzach means victory.
Mhm.
You see that? But none of the Kabbalists were able to say, what is this victory? Victory over what? And it's the victory of happiness. You see that? When you are happy, meaning, you know, um, enjoying peace for the rest of your life, you've conquered suffering.
Mhm.
You've conquered all forms of setbacks and illness, whatever. You have achieved the summum bonum, the great joy, the great prize. Why? Because now your body and your mind is perpetually being fed with vitalized life force. And that's what you have to get to.
Mhm.
In the Chinese wisdom system, they don't cultivate information, they cultivate, vitalizing the faculties, the chi, that will awaken the faculties that will inform you. So you
Mhm.
have to understand that you have information centers within you that with the proper cultivation will speak to you, enlighten you. You see that? Okay. If you go back into biology, you find that not many functions, the function of many organs and tissues within you is to process and convey information, just not simply chemical reactions, but actual sound bites,
Mhm.
image bites.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So again, in Sheka, we're coming up against the hour. You mentioned today that we would talk about happiness, and you also said the secrets of wellness and success. So I know you have dropped some jewels here. Can you speak about why you called it secrets of wellness and success?
Well, it's a very simple thing, you know, and I'm glad you left it for the last so that we can end with an understanding. If for the next 365 days, 24/7, okay, you remain peaceful, which is possible because it's a cultivation that has been done in ancient Egypt for thousands of years. You see that, and all the men and women who who became master of peace and enjoyment of peace, they appended the name Oser to them, to their names. You know, if if we were back in ancient Egypt today with the present culture, you know, we would bury people like the Oser John Roberts, the Oser, you know, Mary, you know, Elaine, the Oser so and so, meaning the same way that the Christians speak about the Christ Jesus. You see that? Okay, and the different messiahs. Okay, there were any man and woman could become an Oser. So I just want people to understand that, you know, the attainment of happiness is possible. And in the back of everybody's mind, we believe it's possible. That's why we seek it.
Mhm.
But we got to first define it. If you haven't defined what you're looking for, you will not know what it looks like when you find it. You will know where to look for it and how to look for it. So the thing is, if you follow this training that we give you to awaken the 11 faculties of your spirit, so that for 365 days and a quarter, 24/7, you are at peace and you're enjoying that peace, right? Where do you think you would be? You will find that your thoughts will lighten up and brightening and lightening. You'll be able to solve your business problems. You will become acutely elucidated and illuminated to solve problems, to create things, to achieve things, and things of that nature. You will find that you will be successful. You gain insight into things that are not in books. You will, yeah. Then you begin to understand, how did I write 40 plus books in 50 years? You see that on subjects like, you know, homeopathic medicine, Chinese medicine. I created my own qigong system. Okay, books on meditation, Kabbalah, books on Ba Zi, that's the Chinese so-called astrology system. You know how, and I taught myself all of these subjects.
Mhm.
You see that? I taught myself how to write books, how to publish books, how to create an organization that spans over 35 cities around the world and it's been around for 50 years. That's all from an inner guidance. And I want to teach you these things.
Mhm.
You see that? Because you see, at the end of the day, you know, everything that everybody knows came out from somebody's spirit.
Mhm.
You see that?
Mhm.
Professor Ben Buchanan said that, you know, he has a PhD because he gave it to himself.
Mhm.
Because the first man who became a PhD had to give the PhD to himself.
Right.
Where it's come from? The inner guidance within you.
Mhm.
But you need to know how to awaken it. And I'm putting my life as a testimony that I have awakened these things. My record is there for you to learn, you know, so your time is not wasted, because there are a lot of people out there who truly believe that they know, but don't know that they don't know how to know, and
Mhm.
things of that nature.
Wow. Well, you kind of answer. Well, the Divine Maroon says 365 days of peace. Let's do this.
Oh, and a
Anybody?
quarter.
And a quarter. 365 and a
25
quarter.
and a quarter. Don't leave it out.
All right. All right. Put that power sign in the chat if you're with that 365 days. And that starts with this course. So that was my last question, Shekhem Shechem. How long is the road that leads to happiness? How long will it take for someone to achieve this state
It all
of life?
depends. It all depends. You know, we're starting from. Let's be honest. Some of us are irreparable damaged goods. Some of us, you know, came from a family line where great grandmother and great grandfather damaged their brain with alcohol and sugar and things of that nature. You with me? Okay. Some of us, you know, our parents did cocaine and, you know, fentanyl and all of these bad drugs, too much alcohol. Some of us never had the daily required amount of vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
Some people never had the daily requirements of all the essential nutrients. So we all starting from different places. You see that? So there's no answer as to how long it's going to take. But I can guarantee you something from the 50 years of Aside have said. Do it every day and day by day, if not week by week, you will see improvements.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? And that's all, that's what counts, to see improvements.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I want to give thanks. And if you appreciate what you heard tonight, let us know in the chat. We are up against the hour. And Shekim, any last comments you want to make?
Well, I would just simply say that, you know, we're all going to put these teachings to work and we will all live happily ever after.
In the Kamitic language, we say Un Nefer. Thank you to God for that. Happily ever after. All right. So hang on after we're done. For some of you who have a few questions, I want to just give you some direction on that. But in the meantime, we want to give thanks and praise to Un Nefer Amen, the Shekim of Asar Set, for all his years of guidance and for making this powerful course available to us now, right in the palm of our hands. So with that, we want to wish you power, peace, and blessings, Shekim, and lots of strength to continue your great work. You told us the other night you have 3 books you're writing right now, as well as a few other courses. So we'll let you go for your evening.
Yes, my next course coming out in a few weeks is The Healing Power of Love.
Mm.
Yeah, lots of people have healing meditations systems, right? Where they visualize, this part of the body getting better, that part of the body getting better. And what the Kamitic tradition is that cultivate the ability to love. And love can be can be challenged to the max.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to love, when you get to that love that nothing can make you stop loving,
Mm.
you see that? Then the whole heap of healing is going to take place.
Mm.
Things within you that you never knew or might not never even know that was sick will be healed.
Mm.
Once you learn to love the right way. You see that?
Well, we look forward to that.
Very good.
So let us say a Necharak. That's power, peace, and blessings to Shekim or Shekim. Un Nefer Amen. Thank you so much for this great webinar tonight.
Thank you. Peace and blessings to all of you. Hotep.
Hotep. All right. I want to thank you all for being with us tonight. Yes, we had some great representation there. And I want to remind those of you that are new with us that what you want to do right now, if you haven't done it already, is you want to take out your phone and you want to download the Soundwise app so you can be right in the center of this great spiritual education that we are getting. These courses, there's free webinars on there, like the one tonight will be posted, along with about 6 or 7 other webinars that are up there. You can spread this great knowledge. The app is free. It's called Soundwise. And all you have to do is search for Kamitic, Kamitc Legacy, and you will find our free podcast. So you can enjoy that. And while you're there, you'll also see the Maat 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success. So do your part to share that. Those of you in the chat that are asking about books and other things of that nature, Kamitic Legacy is our publishing arm that we are now in the process of reissuing some of the books that have not been available. So what you can do is just make sure that you sign up on Soundwise so you can be well informed about what's going on. You can also visit our website, www.maat11laws.com. Maat, the number 11, laws.com. And there you'll find the links to all of our social media, so you can get on our Facebook pages, our YouTube channels, and you'll be the first to know about all the developments that are coming up through the rest of this year and going into next year. So with that, all right, great. Will they all be issued as audiobooks? We'll see. That would be nice, right? We're working on it. So right now, the Maat 11 Laws of God is available as an audiobook, and we have some other things that we are developing. So get on the channel. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and like the broadcast. If you're on Facebook right now, give us a thumbs up, and we'll keep you informed. Yes. Can we republish Metu Neter Oracle Interpretation Series? Yeah, all these things are coming down the channel through our new publishing company. So thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful night. You can contact us through maat11laws.com. That's how you contact us. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Hetzapu.